Hi guys, so we're going to start today with module 1, summarizing marketing data, slicing and dicing. Last time I took you through a very basic introduction on how to use shortcuts for copying and selecting different fields with Excel. So in this video I'm going to focus on slicing and dicing marketing data with pivot tables. So we're going to talk about True Colors hardware, Le Petit Bakery, demographics for analyzing demographics, analyzing sales, and pulling data from pivot tables through the Excel function get pivot data. All right, let's get started. I'm going to start with you today with the analyzing sales at True Colors hardware, and the name of the Excel sheet is Perito Excel. So we're going to talk about examining the sales volumes and percentages by store. We're going to also touch on analyzing the influence of weekday seasonality and overall trends on sales, and also investigate the effect of marketing promotions on sales, and finally determine the influence that demographics has, like different variables that reflect demographics like age, income, and gender, geographic locations, has on the likelihood of a person subscribing to a magazine, the ESPN. So this is more or less a little bit of an exploratory analysis for clustering in marketing. All right. Let's start with analyzing sales at True Colors hardware. We're going to start with answering the 4 questions here in slide number 6. Let's get started with the data. So the first step here is to look at your data. So looking at the data, we see that we have 4 different variables. We have product, we have month, store, and price. If you want to get a quick glance at the data, you just go to Home and go to Filter and then add a filter. What happens here is you're going to add a drop-down menu where you can see the different values or input values. So over here we have 2 stores, downtown and uptown. So if you just have one of them checked, then the data will be filtered accordingly. Let's go back and so on. So this is one little technique that you probably would find it useful in our class for this semester. So let's start with the first question. What percentage of sales occurs at each store? So over here we're talking about sales and store. And we're talking about a percentage. So we're going to deal with store and sales. Sales here is a proxy for price. So I'm going to go ahead and insert a pivot table because this is how we answer such questions. And as you can see here, Excel is very smart. It selected the data range automatically, as you can see, just by placing or selecting the first cell here. Keep it in a new worksheet, and in this new worksheet just call it sales by store. Now pause the video and try to create that pivot table using the pivot table fields over here from this dialog box, and try it. It should take you only 5 minutes. We've done it in class together last time, so please take 5 minutes, do the exercise, and come back to the video. So pause the video. All right, guys. So now I hope that you got this done. You got it done smoothly. So over here you will have store, and then you can select price, or you can drag price. Please make sure that you don't make the mistake of dragging price and putting it at columns. Look what happens when you drag a price at columns. It will treat it as if it's a category, a categorical data type, and then if you drop a price in values, it will sum the total sold in this store for that has the price tag 3, and this is definitely what is not what you intend to get. This is the table that you would like to get that has stores and price in values. If I ask you for the average sales, so basically you're just gonna go here and show values as, this is we're asking for percentage, sorry guys. So we're asking for a percentage, so in this case we go to price over here and we do show values as and percentage of grand total, and this is the answer. All right, okay, so this is quite easy and interesting to do. Let's go back, control, let's reload this. So let's say that you want to explore further other options. So let's say that you would like to check the number format. For example, you want the total sale to be in currency. So with this, you can choose the maybe the dollar sign. Okay, we could have put Canadian dollar sign, but let's just put it United States dollar sign. And over here, you can show the results formatted in a dollar sign. All right, you can also rename this by either double clicking on it or basically and simply go over here into this function field supposedly and instead put a percentage of sales. Let's say that I ask you for, maybe I just put it sales because it's not percentage yet. Let's say you want to center it. Let's say you don't want this, you want it in terms of percentages. Don't use the percentages over here. Look what happens if you use the percentages on the number. You don't get the right answer. So basically, if you want to get it in percentages, you just go and show values as a percentage of a grand total. All right, guys, be careful of that. So this is the requested first information, what percentage of sales occurs at each store. So the downtown store responsible for 51.98%, which is the highest value. Then comes the uptown store with 48.02% of total sales. All right, let's go ahead and check the second question. The second question is what percentage of sales, again, sales, and should be in percentage, occurs during each month. All right, now I would like you to pause the video and take another 5 minutes to answer this question and come back to me. So hopefully that you've been able to figure out how to do this. Go to data, insert, pivot table, okay, and this is sales by month, maybe, or per month. I like consistency, so I'm just going to keep it like that. So hopefully you just selected sales, month, and then sales. And this is sales by month. And of course, you want it to be in percentage. So right click here, show values as a percentage of a grand total. Of course, over here add sales. Sorry, here add sales, and then it's a good practice to just, if you want, up to you. You can just center the data. So these are the sales by month. What if you want to see the sales by, for example, certain months like January, February, March only? So this is what you do. You go over here and you can add a filter, and you see what happens when you add the filter. This icon, an icon of a filter, will appear. If you click on it, for example, you will be able to clear the filter, and then you get the data again as usual. Of course, the steps are available here, step by step, with explanation of what we're doing. And here's the results. And this is the answer for this current exercise. So let's say that you wanted to organize your data in such a way that you show the total sales and also the percentage. So you don't want to just show the percentage, as you can see here, but you want to add the total sale. Pause the video and try to do that and come back to me. All right, so now we have here, instead of sales, let's put percentage of sale. Now we're going to add sales again, but in terms of numeric, like values. And guess what? I want the, or let's name it here, put it sales. All right, and let's put the orientation back again. And then let's say that you would like to add the currency. So please do that. And let's, oh, what happened? Okay, now it should work. Okay, so this time it won't work without us. You need to select the whole range for that. Okay, so select the whole range and then you add the currency. All right, so now you need to probably change the order. I would like to see sales first as a figure and then see what percentage it accounts to. So basically you're just gonna mouse over on one of these fields until the mouse is in the shape that you see, and then hold down or press the mouse button and hold it, and then drag it, move it down, and now you can see how you have sales in numerical format and then the percentages in the adjacent column. So this is how we answer this type of questions if you want to see both sales and the percentage. All right, so let's now take a look at the third question. Third question is quite interesting. How much revenue or sales, it's the same tag, does each product generate? So please take 5 minutes to attempt this question. All right, so the question is, this kind of question is also, it could also be solved by a pivot table. So revenue by product. So what we need to do is we need to take a product here and then the revenue. And this is the revenue by each product. So you could here rename this as revenue. And now you have the revenue. Let's try to hold down. I want to select the whole range without dragging the mouse. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So you need to select the first cell. Then with your thumb, hold the control key and keep holding the control key and press with your index the shift key on the keyboard. So hold down the control and shift key by the thumb and the index finger respectively, and then press on the down arrow. Now you got it all selected at once. Then you need to format the cells and add the currency over here. And here we go. If you want to have the percentage, why not? Let's just have fun with it and put again. But in this case, I would like to get the percentage. So, or maybe if you want, you can have the average, maybe the average revenue. So this is, it doesn't make really sense, real sense, but let's put something that does really make sense. So we're gonna put the, we're gonna put the percentage, but let's go to summarize data again and put it as a sum, because the percentage that we were putting is on the average, so please be careful with that. So if you want to change here the aggregation, so let's clear the values, no calculations. No calculations means no percentage. This is basically aggregated, summarized values by sum. You can do it by count so that you know how many products were sold in fact in total. So this is the count, and this is the sum here, the revenue. You could also have here the average, the minimum, the maximum. So you can have, this is the average. But in our case, we just interested in the revenue, and probably most likely will make a very professional sense that the sum of sales is actually put in a percentage. Let's do it one more time. Here is sales, and the default aggregation here is sum. We want the values in percentage, and this will be the percentage. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the last question. What products generate 80% of revenue? This is a very interesting question. And for this question, I would like to talk about in fact, before I move into this question, I would like to add something interesting here. Probably add a filter. So I would like to show you something interesting. Let's assume that we have a very long list of products, and I would like to examine one or multiple products at a time. Now, of course, you could use this filter menu over here, but you could also add product on the filter over here. And then what happens is you will see all the products, as you can see, with the revenue and the sum of revenue. Also, you could select multiple products. Select multiple products. For example, only this group of products, and then you will be able to see the sum of products, the sum of these products, which is, let's say, all the adhesives. Now, this is quite interesting, but the idea is, whenever I tell you, the idea is you won't be able to see the whole list anymore. You will see just the aggregation. All right. Oh, let's take. Do you see what I'm trying to show you? You either put it on rows or if you attempt to add it here, it won't be added on columns. So basically make sure that you clear the filter here. You want to show all the list. And if you want to show certain or select a certain number or a certain entries of products here, make sure that you select them the hard way, this way, so that you can see them, and then you can see their total if this is what you want. So that was a shortcut. All right, so now let me talk to you about the last topic for this video, which is the Perito 80-20 principle. When slicing and dicing data, you will encounter a situation in which you want to find out which set of variables or products or customers are responsible for generating the most revenue. So this is a well-known the Perito 80-20 principle. I'm sure some of you who took principles of management or maybe economics know about the 80-20 principle. The 80-20 principle is basically describes a phenomena found in the United States that most companies, 20% of their products generate around 80% of their sales. So these are the winning products. The same could apply on the customers. You have most of the time, the top 20% of customers are responsible for about 80% of revenue. This is not a must, it is plus minus, it is an estimate, but let's see if this applies on our case. So how do we get the to answer this question, which products are responsible for 80% of revenue? We also could use the pivot table to answer these questions. And basically, we're going to take products as usual, and we're going to take revenue as usual as well. And then instead of going into filters and all that, we're going to go to value filter. Do you see value filters? So value filters, you go to top 10. With top 10, you will be able to get the top 80 items. We want percentage, so the top 80% of price. And here are the products. So how many products are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 products. Does these 6 products amount for 20% of total products? How many products do we have here? We have, let's count them. The count function could be used. So these in total, it doesn't count on the oh, have it. 30. So here we have, we're counting 30 cells, so 6 over 30 or 6 over 30, let's see how much is 20%. So now you can see that 6 products over here are over 30 products in total are responsible for our 20%. So these 20% of products, which is equal to 6 products, are responsible for 80% of revenue. And 80% of revenue is this much, is 7772, and this is over, let's see if it's 80% really, over 9,000 something, and it's actually about 80%. It's 81%, so it's about 80%. So this is the Perito rule. All right, I hope that this was helpful for you. I would like you to clear the filter right now before I leave you for this video. Would like you to try other values. For example, between. So sum of price is between. Let's say the sum of price is between 1,000 and 2,000. Let's say that you want to check So there's no values. Okay. Let's try again. In between 100 and 200, because here's the sums: 24, 200, 100. So these sums are 340. So 5,000. Yeah, okay. So I see why we didn't get anything. So these are in between 100 and 200, and so on. So you could use different filters here. For example, you can have sum of price is greater than 100, and now you can get an expanded list of products that corresponds to that rule. Let's examine another rule. Less than, let's say less than 100. So now you have all these values, or all the sum of price that is less than a certain value. All right, probably there is one last thing. The one last thing is how to use a function, actually, before I let you go for this video. So I'm going to show you how to use a function to retrieve a certain entry. So let's say that you have, by the way, the answer here, this, let's put it back again to the top, 80%, so 80% of revenue. And let's call this the, you could call it the Perito rule, or you could call it 80% of revenue. Okay. Now, I would like to show you, for example, if you have a bigger, for example, you have here the store, and then you have the products, and then for each product break it down by month. So you see that certain products are sold in certain months, or the other way around. So replace it and you have January, February, March, and all the products sale, and then you have the sale in there. And you would like to answer the question of how much sales how much do we how much sales is, let's say in January. Let's begin like that. So let me make it a little bit less complicated, or let me show you what I mean. So over here you put, for example, let me show you. So there is a function called get pivot data. With get pivot data, first of all, you need to tell here the data field. So you would like to get the price. This is the data field that you would like to get, which is the price. And the pivot table is in fact starting here at A3. And the pivot table starts with the, I know that we're starting with the month, but actually the month is just on top of the product. So we're going to start with the products. And then from the products, I want safety 1. And then we say month, January, store, downtown. So then this will yield 36. So if you want to answer the question, how much is the sales of safety 1 product? So you are going into a path. So you're telling Excel, start with the product, and put it in double quotes, not single quotes. If you put it in single quotes, it won't work. And this is case sensitive. So basically you want to say to Excel, I would like the price of safety 1. There is no easy shortcut to that from this pivot table. So you need to go in a path format. So you're going to say, this is A3 marks the first cell of this pivot table. And then you say, go to product. I want product and I want safety 1. Yeah. And then you say, Okay, this is in fact is under a bigger umbrella or broken down into, we have month, which is January, and then we have the store. So we have month, January, and then store, downtown. Let's say if we change January into something different to another month, for example, February, and let's hope that there's an entry to that. Oh, there's no entry to that. So how about, could I just take a look if we have safety one and we have February. So this is not working, right? It says reference. So if this is safety one, and this is the month of February, let's see how does it look like. It's going to be price A3, product safety one, month February, store downtown. Yeah, but this is what we've done. I think maybe I've just wrote February, the spelling was wrong or something. So this is how we do the get pivot table data. I would like you to get me the sales for the safety one product again in March. Take like 5 minutes to complete that and then come back to me. All right, so you first gonna select the cell, hit equal, and then get pivot data. You can just double click on the tab. The data field that I would like you to return Excel is price. So I'm going to put price here, comma. The pivot table, I'm just going to select here, A3. So this is the pivot table. In the previous example, as you can see, we have it in absolute reference. So just add the dollar signs for now. I'll explain this later if you want. And then we have the first, we are gonna start with the path. The path starts with the product. And the product is safety one. There's a space and capital letter on S. And then we're gonna go to month. I wonder if month is capital or small. And then we're gonna go to March. And then we're gonna go to store. And then we're gonna go to which store? Uptown. Let's say Uptown. And let's see, here's 36. Let's check. This is safety one, and this is March, and this is Uptown store, and this is 36. So basically, what does that tell you? This tells you if you are here, over here in the data, and I'm asking you to answer the questions without a pivot table. What's the total price? So I ask you something like, what's the total price? So basically price, she's asking me from a pivot table. So you need a pivot table. So you can't just say get a pivot table and do it on the data. There's one of the things that some of my students struggled with. So don't go for a shortcut and say, oh, get a pivot table, and there's no need for me to create a pivot table. As you can see, if you attempt to pull in data from a pivot table that doesn't exist, you cannot reference it. You can't just go and reference this like that and pretend that this is a pivot table, for example, and say something like a product, and then say something like safety one, and then be like, okay, I'm just gonna do that. It's not gonna work, all right? All right, so this is it for this video. I'll see you in the next video.